the southern U.S., we have Nicole Padilla on Louisiana governors urging the residents there to take precautions against COVID-19. Moving out west to southern Nevada, we have Anna Cui.
Nevada Governor Sisolak issues mandatory face covering policy, and LAS reports continued increase in summer flight schedules.
On to California. In Southern California, we have Julianne Fiesta.
COVID-19 cases spike in LA County.
Moving up slightly north to Northern California, JP Era reports about the unveiling of the California COVID Assessment Tool, or CalCAT. Plus, we will talk story or have a conversation with someone with small business challenges during this period of the pandemic. And he's a familiar face in Eagle News. You don't want to miss that. And later on, we'll have part 2 of our visit to Eliana's Kitchen in Southern California. Find out a little bit of what she will prepare during our upcoming feature. So first, we have to start our broadcast with a serious note with the latest numbers of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to Johns Hopkins University. As of today, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 10 million. This includes more than 2,500,000 in the United States and more than 105,000 up in Canada. Sadly, the coronavirus has claimed more than 500,000 lives worldwide. This number includes more than 125,000 deaths in the US and more than 8,000 in Canada. Let's begin our coverage across the United States. We have Myla Simbulan with her report on the gradual 3-step process strategy to be implemented at long-term care facilities. Plus, in Delaware, phase 3 of the economic reopening there being delayed. For more, here's Myla Simbulan from Swarthmore. Aloha, Myla.
Aloha, Alfred. Here in Pennsylvania, long-term care facilities are one of those places that have been hit hard of COVID-19 cases. And in order to ensure safe return to activities, both the Department of Health and Department of Human Services issued guidance so all staff and residents can safely welcome visitors and return to a more normal routine. According to Human Services Secretary Teresa Miller, and I quote, resuming operations for long-term care facilities should be done gradually and deliberately, and most importantly, this must be done safely. Guidance issued today will help this process begin, and we will continue to support long-term care facilities every step. Prior to reopening, long-term care facilities should be prerequisites before proceeding to the 3-step process of reopening. So what's the 3-step process? One, the facility must maintain no COVID-19 cases for both staff and residents, and only after 14 consecutive days of no new cases. And then step 2, same rule applies, but no new cases and no spread for the next 14 consecutive days. And same step 3, after step 2, we'll count another 14 days with no cases. Then the facility can safely welcome visitors and return to activities in other events. Pennsylvania has been experiencing a steady decline of number of positive cases and hope that it will continue to do so. Although last Friday, June 26, all counties except one are on the last and final phase of reopening. Let's neighbor state, Delaware. Governor John Carney of Delaware delayed moving to phase 3 of economic reopening, which is supposed to reopen tomorrow, June 29. According to Carney, too many Delawareans and visitors are not following basic public health precautions. We've heard and seen concerns, especially in their beach communities, in restaurants, in gyms, and at sporting events. They are now closely monitoring coastal communities by holding test beds to places like Riverboat Beach that will determine infection rates. Based on Delaware's dashboard from a month ago, which is May about May 29 to today, the number of cases has really going down. But this past week, when the weather got a little bit warmer, the numbers started to go up a little bit. In Starkville, Pennsylvania, Myla Simbulan, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alfred.
Mahalo, Myla. It's just interesting, even there in the East Coast in Pennsylvania, the increases of cases really is not just isolated in certain places. It's pretty much nationwide. But what are the prerequisites for entering the three-step process of reopening those long-term facilities?
There's a lot of planning involved, Alfred. The government, the Pennsylvania government wants implementation plans, and they want it posted on their websites. And is they want to, once a resident or staff shows COVID-19 symptoms, and they want to administer tests within 24 hours. And the same, and personal care homes, it's the same. Assisted living residences and private intermediate care has the same rules as well. They have to develop a plan when they allow visits from loved ones. They need to include scheduling and safety measures. They also need to develop a plan once a resident is infected with COVID-19. They need a plan to isolate those residents or staff. Based on the guidance that the government has implemented. There's also screening protocols for staff during each shift. Each resident, daily, there should be some screening protocols for both staff and residents. They need to have adequate staffing as well, and of course, personal protective equipment for all staff. And the long-term care facility should be located on a county already on yellow or green phase, which is not an issue right now because most of the counties right now are in green phase, and only except one county, Lebanon County, which is on yellow phase. Alfred?
For sure, a lot of the residents there and throughout the state are expecting to move forward and not have to revert back, closing down and then create more uncertainty. So it's good to see there's a plan in place. We'll see how this plan develops. Looking forward to future reports there in Pennsylvania, Myla. Mahalo. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Let's move on to the southern United States in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge specifically, where we have Eagle News correspondent Nicole Padilla reporting on Louisiana's governor and First Lady releasing a public service announcement, or PSA, urging fellow residents there to mask up. Take a look.
Alfred, and aloha to you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. On Wednesday, June 24, Governor Edwards and the First Lady Donna Edwards released a public service announcement reminding Louisiana residents to take precautions against COVID-19 in order to protect themselves and their families. Governor Edwards stated, "Everyone wear your mask, social distance, and wash your hands frequently. These measures help protect you, your loved ones, and community." Additionally, First Lady Donna Edwards urged parents to be good examples for their children. She stated, "As summer activities ramp up, it is important to keep our family members safe. Parents, let's set a good example for our kids by wearing a mask and practicing social distancing. What we do now will determine what we can do in the fall. Mask up, be a good neighbor, and God bless." For more information, visit coronavirus.la.gov. Even with Phase 2 mandates in effect, there are still ways to enjoy the culture of Louisiana. According to the Louisiana Office of Tourism website, louisianatravel.com, visitors can enjoy virtual tours and an interactive map of the state. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Nicole Adeline Padilla, Eagle News, will live in interesting times. Hope you're staying safe and cool out there in Hawaii, Alfred. Back to you.
Mahalo. Thank you very much, Nicole. You take care of yourself over there. Excuse me. When we come back, more updates from our correspondents, this time from the West Coast. This is Eagle News America.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants.
You're just too good to be true. Up, you came to get it drunk with a dame, I should have drunk you back when I was a child.
Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
Tagisan ng Galing is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved Nutrichunks, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa Nutrichunks. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate NEPs and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matimco, Our Square Variables Incorporated, Compizel Enterprises, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
The successful development of TPLEX, or Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway in 2009, a 4-lane toll road that extends from Tarlac City to Rosario La Union with an additional approved extension of 56 kilometers all the way to San Juan La Union. This is expected to reduce travel time to Baguio and other provinces in northern Luzon. Realizing the vision of creating a better world for Filipinos fueled the team's focus.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutrichunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutrichunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Welcome back to Eagle News America, coming to you from Hawaii. I'm Alfred Asenas. We go now to the state of Nevada, where the governor there, similar to what's been going on in Louisiana, issues a mandatory face covering policy. And Current Airport, or LAS, reports continued increase in summer flight schedules. For more, here's our bureau chief in Las Vegas, Anna Cui. Aloha, Anna.
Aloha, Alfred, and thank you. According to a recent press conference, Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak issued a mandatory face covering policy for all Nevadans and visitors. This directive, which became effective on June 26, 2020, comes after a 4-week climb in cases, at which time the governor asked the Nevada Medical Advisory Team to analyze potential options for slowing the spread specific to facial coverings. For this requirement, anyone in any public space throughout the state, including visitors, will need to wear a mask. This includes public transportation, public-facing work environments, any businesses, any place where there is interaction in any generally publicly accessible space. In this press conference, Governor Sisolak stated that Nevada continues to remain in phase 2 of the Roadmap to Recovery Plan, allowing the medical, public health, and emergency response teams to evaluate and analyze new trends, including what is now a 4-week upward trend of new daily cases. He further stated that they are still watching the continued increase in the confirmed and suspected COVID-19 hospitalizations as well. Recently, that number reached 439 cases in Nevada, and this is according to this press conference a few days ago. Patients requiring ICU beds and ventilators continues to hold steady. The Nevada Hospital Association is regularly evaluating the effects of COVID-19 on staffing, PPE supplies, and bed capacity. At this point, the Hospital Association continues to remain confident they can serve the needs of all Nevadans. Sisolak further stated that due to the data and time needed for evaluation of contact tracing and impacts of this new face covering directive, any discussion of entering phase 3 will be tabled for now. He gave a reminder that every Nevadans have to work together to stay safe and for us to stay open. He says, no shirt, no shoes, no mask, no service. According to the COVID tracking project, the number of hospitalizations related to COVID-19 cases as of today, June 28, 2020, has actually reached 511. In addition, the positivity rate for the state of Nevada is reported at 6.4%, which is up 1% compared to just 1 week ago. Governor Sisolak posted on Facebook, and I quote, "Sadly today marks the 500th loss of life in Nevada due to COVID-19. Now, in other news, according to a press release from McCarran International Airport, since the reopening of hotel resort properties on the Las Vegas Strip on June 4, sustained demand from tourists seeking to return to Southern Nevada has led airline partners at LAS to increase their flight schedules in the coming months. At the lowest point of travel during the pandemic, McCarran saw only 110 scheduled arrivals for a single day. Last month, in May, the top 10 domestic carriers at LAS combined to average 145 scheduled arrivals per day, and this month, in June, rose nearly to 200. And in July, it will be in excess of 280 per day, and by August, scheduled day air arrivals into Las Vegas is slated to increase to more than 330. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority reports more than 230 hotels, including Bellagio, Caesars Palace, Cosmopolitan, The Venetian, Wynn Las Vegas, to name a few, reopened during June. Before the end of July, properties accounting for 125,000 total local guest rooms are expected to be open. According to the same press release, Clark County Director of Aviation Rosemary Vasiliadis stated, and I quote, "The significant investment in increased scheduling shows the confidence our airline partners have in travelers' demand to return to our incredible destination, and it underscores the hard work being done to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 here at the LAS." Now, Alfred, both of these updates came only a day apart of each other, and some already wonder if the good news of increased flight schedules will continue with the reported upward trend of new daily cases. I will definitely continue to give updates here at Eagle News. In Las Vegas, Anna Cui, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alfred.
Thanks much, mahalo, Anna, and of course, being Hawaii's 9th island, many of us here are asking, hey, what's the latest there on the Strip there in Vegas from what you've gathered and what you've observed?
It's pretty scary, actually. I mean, it's good for the economy because you just see, I mean, compared to when the pandemic started, when the shutdown started, it was ghost town. And just today and yesterday, lots of people out on the strip. Actually, last night we were out. It just looked like a regular summer day. And on a positive note, though, because of the mandate that Governor Sisolak recently issued, more people are wearing masks that we saw. We were actually invited to a birthday party 2 days ago at Caesar's Palace, and the parking lot was full. We had to actually drive around a few times to find a spot. It took us, probably, I would say 10 minutes driving around. So, which is a good sign. At the same time, it's pretty alarming.
And of course, in recent days, especially leading to this weekend, we've seen the headlines like California out west and then Arizona out east, where you have spikes in cases. Surely, the local state government there is monitoring the situation, because Vegas is accessible. What's your take on that?
Yes, I mean, very closely, actually. I mean, because, we're sandwiched between those two states, and, people, we see just these past few days, we see so many more, Californians traveling here. And then we're just thinking about next week being a July 4th weekend. There's hotels, as it is a tradition here in Las Vegas, of fireworks displays, and that's already scheduled. There's schedules posted that there will be firework displays. So we're kind of just gonna step back and stay home and avoid the crowd this next weekend.
Right, and you mentioned the 4th of July, and for those from our international audience, 4th of July is Independence Day in the United States, which is traditionally an predominant outdoor event with fireworks and concerts. Yeah. I'm sure even in the summertime in Vegas, there's an outdoor event, that normally takes place. But with this, with the conditions now, and of course the demand is not going to go away, because people want to go somewhere this summer. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic on how this holiday will impact what the way ahead after. That's going to be an interesting trend to see. Yes. Thanks very much, Anna. We look forward to more updates there in Southern Nevada.
Thank you, Alfred.
On Southern California, like what Anna and I talked about, COVID-19 cases spike, especially in LA County. In Delano, we have Julianne Fiesta with her report. Aloha, Julianne.
Aloha, Alfred, and thank you. The latest reports from the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health show that COVID-19 confirmed cases are on the rise. Just 2 weeks ago, the average daily numbers over a one-week period were at 1,379, but with a major spike in new cases, that average has gone up to 1,900. A recent check on hospitalizations supports this new data, with 1,698 total patients in the hospital, an increase of the average, which at most was previously around 1,450. As expected, with coronavirus testing becoming more available, the number of confirmed infected residents has risen by about 1%. But with a population as large as Los Angeles County, that 1% increase is significant. Another factor attributed to the spread of the virus is the reopening of different establishments and work locations. More and more, the opportunity for people to mingle with the general public and with those outside their own household is greater, which means the chance for COVID-19 to be passed from person to person is also higher. But after months of Angelenos aching to return to dining at restaurants, shopping, going to the gym, or just spending time with friends, the thought of having to shelter at home again is a pretty tough pill to swallow. So, what should residents do to help keep the roadmap to recovery momentum going? According to health officials, the same reminders that have been advocated since the outbreak of the pandemic still need to be followed. Wear a face covering when outdoors, keep physical distancing, wash your hands frequently, and stay home if you feel sick or are among those identified as particularly vulnerable to coronavirus. By adhering to these and other infection control protocols, people can hopefully still enjoy time away out of the house while acting to protect themselves and those around them. In Los Angeles County, the number of new cases increased with 2,542 newly reported cases and 20 new deaths. The total number of confirmed cases in the county is 97,894 with 3,305 deaths, as announced today by the Los Angeles Public Health Department. Meanwhile, the state of California currently has a total of 206,433 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 5,872 deaths, as recorded by the California Department of Public Health. In Delano, California, Julian Fiesta, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alfred.
Thank you very much for that update, Julianne, especially there in Southern California, where it's been the headline news in the past days with these spike in COVID-19. And there's that ongoing misconception about, young people who are, more, I guess, some are still thinking they can still tolerate and be able to not get sick. Is that thought process still, common there in your part of the world, thinking that they're too strong to get sick from COVID-19?
Actually, personally, I know people in that younger age range that have gotten sick from COVID, and it's been really hard on them too. In the Los Angeles County, the number of the coronavirus cases for the residents 18 to 40 have risen from 24,457 to 35,249 over the span of just 2 weeks. So regardless of age or general health, people need to remember that COVID-19 is indiscriminate, and as such, we all need to take the necessary precautions. Alfred?
That's a good thing of thinking there, Julianne, and then hopefully, with this report and our future reports, it'll send a message across, the 20s and 30s generation that no one is safe from this virus. Thanks for promoting that idea, and you keep you safe there, Julianne, please.
I will. You guys too.
Now, from Southern California, we move up to Northern California, where Governor Gavin Newsom unveils the California COVID Assessment Tool, also known as CalCat. In Sacramento, we have JP Era with the details. Aloha, JP.
Just an update here from Sacramento. We currently have a total number of 2,666 cases. Just this past week, Governor Gavin Newsom unveiled the California COVID Assessment Tool, or what they call CalCat. This tool is meant to help Californians have a better understanding of the virus and its impact on the community. This tool displays information such as the spread of the virus, short-term forecasts for what can be expected up to the next 4 weeks, and different scenarios that display the long-term impacts of COVID. The short-term forecast, which can be found by clicking the Nowcasts link on the site, provides information on the estimated rate that the virus will spread. You are able to check the trend of each California county and the rate that the virus is likely to spread in that county. The forecast displays data that will predict what will happen over the next few weeks. Information is gathered using the amount of daily hospitalizations, along with the total amount of deaths in the state and in each county. The scenarios link goes a bit further into what to expect and what kinds of situations that we may be dealing with in the next coming months. This displays information on how many patients may be hospitalized, who may be put in ICU beds, and also how many deaths are expected over the next few months under some certain conditions. This tool allows researchers, scientists, technologists, and even the public to gain access to information about what's happening within their community. While all of this information is helpful, Governor Gavin Newsom still stresses that the best way to slow the spread of the virus is by wearing a mask, staying physically distant, and also by staying at home. In Sacramento, JP Era, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thanks, JP, for that report. And please, yourself and your team and your families there, please take care of yourselves, especially around this time with the cases spiking back up there in the Golden State. Thanks again. Coming up, a conversation with a small business owner here in Hawaii and a familiar face in Eagle News. You don't want to miss that. We'll talk about how the pandemic has affected the small business industry here, to include his own. Don't go away. We'll be right back. This is Eagle News. Welcome back to our broadcast coming to you from Hawaii. I'm Alfred Asenas. Earlier, we said that we were going to join one of our own from here in Hawaii to talk about small business and how it's affected. He's actually joining us here in a bit, but I wanted to throw the question, pose the question to my fellow correspondents here about small businesses in general, whether you own one, whether you know someone or help someone with a small business or patronize them. We just wanted to throw the question, how do you do your part in supporting small businesses, which is pretty much the one that's driving whatever's left of the economy. We're going to start with you, Myla. What's your experience like, with small businesses there in your neighborhood?
Well, Alfred, I'm actually a small business owner as well. I have a full-time work and also a small business owner. I own a company called East West. So that means what we do is sort of like an offshore technical services, meaning if you need work done, if you need a website, a web application done for you, that's our job. And then we send that to the Philippines because we have programmers there to do the job. The purpose of this is some companies, especially the small company, they don't want to pay a lot of money for them to build an application for them. So this is another option for them if you want. So we're like in the middle one. We're the one doing project management, because me and my husband, we're both in IT. So we know how it works. We know how to design projects and things like that. And then we send it to the Philippines. It all started when we have friends help. So it all started with that. We just want to help them. And we have connections here in the US where they need some programmers. They don't have enough funds. So that during this COVID-19, that's still working for us because everything is online. We do everything online. So there was really no effect on our work. It's just that there are some clients of us, we have less clients or less projects now because of COVID-19, because some of them are not operational and they don't need that much projects to work on. So that's the only effect it has on for us. But as far as working online and all these things, there was no effect on that one.
That's interesting to note that now the info technology community, the industry, now it seems to have absorbed a whole lot of the functions that a lot of corporations, big or small, normally do, which involves face-to-face interaction. But now they have to go, use web technology So what kind of advice would you like to share, to your peers there in the industry or those who may want to venture in that kind of business?
One advice is if there's no need for you to go to the office, just stay at home. That's what everyone, every time we have reporting anyway. That's what all the states are saying. If there's no need for you to go to the office and you have an option to telework, just stay at home and I know a lot of companies are saving money right now. So that offshore work is really beneficial right now. It's useful right now. So you might probably want to go to that route as well. Even the company I work to, I'm a full-time worker as well. We do all of our projects, we send it offshore. A lot of corporates now are sending their projects offshore. That's why we went into this kind of business as well. So that's my only advice right now.
Well, hang in there, Myla. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you guys are hanging in there, you and your husband, and best wishes, and hopefully you'll continue to support whoever else needs your services. And best of luck to you. Let's go to Texas, to Kathleen. Now I know you know folks who manage small businesses. They've even ventured. I think you featured one that's already creating some new ideas, maybe new clientele. What's going on there in the Lone Star State as far as small businesses, Kathleen?
Well, howdy and aloha from Texas, Alfred. Well, here in Corpus Christi, Texas, the community the community is comprised of many small businesses, and in fact, here in our town, small businesses are the lifeblood of the community. And there is one particular business that I became acquainted with. It was a French pastry or French bakery that had just started like a year ago or a couple of years ago. And I know that this pandemic lockdown crisis has hit them pretty hard. And so whenever I have the opportunity to pass by their establishment, whenever I go to work or whenever I have errands to run, I try to stop by and pick up a coffee. They have a really great lavender latte. It's like a latte with lavender flowers in it. It's really delicious. And they also have a variety of different French style pastries like croissants, different kind of eclairs. It's really delicious. And whenever I go there, of course they're practicing the social distancing, the mask. Everything is disinfected. They're very strict about that. And but they're also striving to make sure that they can succeed, that they can keep themselves afloat financially. And so what I do whenever I have the chance, I would sometimes post on my social media to help promote them a little bit, to kind of give them some publicity, free publicity. I would post it on my Facebook, enjoyed a great croissant here at Bien Mérité. That's the name of the French bakery, which means well-deserved in French. And I would also invite some of my friends to come with me, and we would take pictures together in front of their mural. They have a nice, beautiful mural, in their storefront. And so different things that I can do to kind of help promote them and give them some exposure to draw more interest. And of course you have a lot of people that see your post like, oh, where did you get that looks so great. It's like, oh yeah, go here to this place, it's really awesome. And that's one of the ways that I do it, Alfred.
Well, if I may suggest, I know we've discussed this and there's another small business that I think you touched on, whether it's in Texas or elsewhere. You can wash it all down, all that pastry stuff, wash it all down with some Dalgona coffee. How about that, Kathleen?
Well, the Dalgona coffee, that's true, Alfred. We've had this discussion many times. People of our age range, we have a difficult time whipping up that Dalgona coffee and getting that fluffy thing going on. It's only the millennials that seem to have the knack for doing it.
I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to break that myth. So, one of these days that mixture will float on top. We'll see.
Alfred.
Well, thank you, Kathleen. We're going to segue now to our special guest today, as he is getting ready to show us his another side of our fellow correspondent. Let me just introduce, him. He's been with us for in the network for 6 years now, and he's actually been a correspondent longer than I have, which equates to more experience. But although we haven't seen him a whole lot, in the recent months during the pandemic, you may have seen his work, his photographs, and videos, which we here at Eagle News have used as B-roll in our features, especially what's going on here in this part of the world, in Hawaii. Now, there's one more interesting aspect about our special guest, and which will be the focus of our discussion. And without further ado, let me introduce, welcome back, Ron Hamilton. Aloha, Ron. Can you hear us?
Aloha. How do you read me?
Oh, loud and clear,
okay,
and
good.
I can smell the beach from here. How are you doing so far?
Doing well, Alfred. Everything's doing really well here in Waikiki.
We want to thank you. I know it's been a busy day for you, but thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Let's talk about another side of Ron Hamilton that a whole lot of people don't know, which you happen to be a small business owner. What kind of business do you own, sir?
So, Al, what we do here at my company is my wife and I own a company called Wheel Care Oahu. It's a non-emergency medical transportation business. What we do is we have gurney transport, we have wheelchair transport, and we take patients to their doctor's appointments and hospital visits. It's a specialized transportation, it's like a taxi, in between a taxi and an ambulance. So it costs more than a taxi, but less than an ambulance.
That's great. That's great to know. Now, how many years have you, been in that venture, sir?
So I've been doing this since 2008. In addition to my role at Eagle News, at one point, in Hawaii, it's very hard to get by. As you well know, making ends meet. You have both spouses have to work. Sometimes people have 2 or 3 jobs. At one point, I was, in addition to Eagle News, I was also driving by patients. I was a caregiver for a patient, and I was working at a electrician's office as an estimator. So I had 4 full-time jobs at one point, juggling that to survive here in Hawaii.
Now, for your business as a handy van operator. Are there any special qualifications you had to go through, or as far as being qualified to operate that kind of vehicle?
And not really. The only thing is, if you want to start your own business. If you're going to come work for somebody, a driver's license is all it takes. There may be additional requirements that the company may instill, such as first aid certification or so on and so forth, but that is not necessary. When I started my business, Wheel Care Oahu, I wanted to stand out above the crowd. So I went through CNA school, become a certified nurse's assistant, to get a license before I started my company, so I could offer both aspects of the caregiving services. Not only transportation, but also stay with the patient, take notes, and help with small emergencies that may spring up when you're dealing with patients. But that is not required. It's just something good to have. If you're going to start your own business, here in Hawaii, you have to deal with the Department of Transportation, the Public Utilities Commission, and the state licensing office to have a business in the first place. So it is quite involved to start a business like here in the Aloha State.
That's great to know, Ron. It looks like, you put yourself above and beyond, normally what other operators would normally provide. And just for our audience sake, the pictures and the videos you've seen are the actual shots that our friend Ron has provided us in our more recent reports. And we want to thank you, Ron, for all that footage. But we want to ask up front, how has the pandemic affected your business?
Yes, sir. Thank you for asking. The pandemic has affected my business and that less people are actually going to the doctor. Doctors are seeing less patients than normal because they don't want to infect the other patients or risk infection. And a lot of nursing homes here, where I get most of my patients from, they are not letting people out for non-emergency purposes. So doctors' visits have gone way down. So mostly what I do is patients that have no choice, such as dialysis patients or hospital discharges. This has affected the business in that I'm doing about 50% less business than usual in these past few months. Now, to fight that off, the government has provided a PPP program, which is Payroll Protection Program. And to qualify for that, you have to, it's pretty easy. There are some forms you fill out online. It's pretty easy to show how much money you are making and that you have to state that your business has suffered because of the COVID-19 virus. And then they will give you a loan for some money. Now, a loan, I don't want a loan. I want money. So they offer forgiveness. They will offer forgiveness for your loan. But that is a bit harder to do. It is not so simple that you're just going to fill it out to get your loan. To get forgiveness, you have to jump through quite a few more hoops. And I'm still in that process right now. It's an 8-week process to get your loan forgiveness. So I'm waiting to see if I do everything correctly so I can get my money back.
It's good to hear that you're availing of some of the government programs that's already being offered, and I think we've touched some of us here in Eagle News have touched on those programs more than once, and that's interesting to know from your firsthand experience. You know what, you've already got your equipment there laid out. I was hoping you'd give us a show and tell, and how do you set up your equipment, especially if you have to pick up a patient?
Well, I don't know what you can see with the camera, Al, but this is my gurney. Can you see that clearly?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, keep going.
So we have a ramp in the back. Roll the patient in like this. Get him inside the bed. And then we have some steps. He was strapped up. The gurney itself has some seatbelts on. Strap him down properly. Hold up your ramp, and then away you go. In the case of a wheelchair, I have another mannequin. We have a ramp on the side. You see clip down? And then we have a wheelchair ramp like this. You roll it in like this. Again, roll it in. Down, and away you go. It's just that simple.
And of course, it's a great demonstration there, by the way, Ron. You got your two vehicles, configured and to be able to cater to different ways of transporting patients and their personal equipment. But of course, you yourself have to protect yourself, from getting sick. Can you just describe what kind of additional precautions have you applied to yourself?
Yes, sir. So typically, you have to wear a mask everywhere you go here in Hawaii. So it's not much different from my job. We wear masks every time we're in contact with patients or in any medical facilities. Also, medical facilities require you take a temperature check before you come in, and they will ask you a series of questions about your exposure to COVID and any health-related things that might show that you're infected. As long as you pass those, you're allowed to go in and get the patient. So I have my temperature taken 5-6 times every day, and I go through the screening 5-6 times a day. So I'm pretty safe on that end. Regarding my vehicles, after every patient, we wipe down everything with strong alcohol wipes that we get from the hospital itself. It's not the one you get from Walmart. This is not your typical stuff. This is high quality, dangerous chemicals for your skin. So you have to wear rubber gloves, wipe down everything with the disinfectant, and then you're good for another patient after that.
Well, thank you, Ron. I do hope, wish you the best for you and your wife and the business. And please take care of yourself. And we look forward to seeing more of your photos and videos here on Eagle News. Take care of yourself, sir. Mahalo.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Al.
When we come back, we'll have more discussion with our correspondents about small business, plus We'll visit Eliana's kitchen in Southern California. We'll be right back. This is Eagle News.
Turuan din natin ang mga bata ng tamang paghugas ng mga kamay. Basain ang kamay ng tubig at lagyan ng sabon. Kuskusin ang iyong mga palad. Gayon din ang pagitan ng mga daliri. Pati na ang likod ng mga palad at daliri. Ganon din ang iyong hinalaki, kasama ang mga dulo ng iyong mga daliri. Pagkatapos ay iyong palapulsuhan. Gawin ito ng kahit 20 segundo. Pagkatapos ay banlawan ng tubig at patuyuin.
Alfred sent us from Hawaii once again for Eagle News America. We're going to continue the topic on small businesses. And a few minutes ago, we spoke with Ron Hamilton from Waikiki in regards to his handyman service, which, just like any other small business, it has been affected by the pandemic. And I want to turn the next discussion with Anna Kui, who's very, with the healthcare industry near and dear to her heart. I know, Anna, we discussed offline about, of course, the complexities involving healthcare providers having to entrust, outside contract, especially like in Ron's case, to transport patients. What's your experience with those kinds of small businesses, Anna?
Yeah, so in healthcare here in Las Vegas, I work with a company, and that's why I asked if he's contracted with insurance companies, because unfortunately with all the regulations, you have to go through a lot of policies to be able to partner with facilities or even hospitals to provide those type of services. So here we have companies that actually use vendors like Lyft to transport patients if those patients are not needing any type of like gurney or wheelchair. If the patients are ambulatory, they're able to do that. But there are those companies similar to Ron's business where they actually provide, gurney transport and wheelchair and things like that. So, yeah.
And offline, I know Ron and I touched on the fact that, in Honolulu and even in other cities like the ones in Florida, where you have an increasing number of population of senior citizens and even veterans. Is it similar like that in Vegas, Anna?
Definitely, yes. I mean, a lot of people, retire here. So a lot of people move here, or even the ones that we refer to as snowbirds. They come here. There's a huge population of seniors that decide to stay here in Las Vegas because of the weather. Especially those with like respiratory disorders, chronic illnesses. It's better for them to be here rather than, back east where it's more humid. So the weather here, the dryness of the weather here helps them. So, during this time though, the pandemic, a lot of, because of like the telehealth, a lot of the seniors are staying home. So they utilize their doctor visits through telehealth, whether it's just over the phone or video. So, which has been a positive thing for them.
Of course, you yourself, interact with patients who and some of them may need to avail of these services. If there's any advice you would like to offer, them or those who want to, who are in this industry, what kind of advice would you like to share with them?
For patients, we constantly remind our seniors, especially those with chronic illnesses. Actually, right now, they are really just opting to stay home. I mean, they're not although some of the primary care clinics, so I deal more with primary care, they are opening more now in the recent month, where they can actually go in to see their doctors in the office. But more patients right now are opting to just continue with telehealth, and they're going into the offices if they really have to. But right now, I would say still about 80% of appointments are made just through telehealth. So, for those, especially here in Las Vegas, we constantly remind them, be wary of the weather. If it's windy, like today, it's very windy, very dusty outside. Those with chronic respiratory illnesses, we advise them to stay home, stay indoors when conditions are that way. And then, of course, with summer in the heat, we advise them to continue to also stay hydrated, especially during this time.
Anna, we always appreciate your experience there, with healthcare, and of course, interacting with small businesses, especially there in your part of the world. Looking forward always to what's going on there in Vegas. Thanks again. Let's go now to Southern California. Remember those potato popper appetizers that our junior chef Eliana taught us how to make? Well, let's go back to her kitchen and check out the main course. Pesto seafood pasta with sausage. That is a mouthful. And joining him is none other than Alan Basaliaje to take us to Eliana's kitchen. Take a look.
Good day, Eagle News viewers and foodies around the world. As you can tell, I've returned to one of my most favorite places in the whole world. That's right, I'm back at Eliana's kitchen. All right, Eliana, so in our past visit, you made those wonderful potato poppers that we're actually very eager to try out. But right now, we're moving on to the main course, right? What are you preparing?
I'm gonna make pesto seafood pasta.
Oh, seafood, I love seafood.
So first, I'm gonna take some butter. So take half of this stick. I'm just gonna put it in for now. And set that aside.
Wow.
Take a wooden spoon and let it sizzle. Now take some olive oil. There we go. Make sure your butter doesn't burn.
Don't burn the butter, folks.
Add your garlic. Careful, might pop at you. Now I'm gonna add this sausage.
What are the sausages made out of?
Pork. They're Italian sausages. So just start sauteing it. Now I'm gonna add the shrimp. You don't have to add shrimp if you don't want to, but you can, because I love shrimp.
Now I noticed that the shrimp was already pink.
It's halfway cooked. It's not all the way cooked, but I'm gonna start cooking it now. Make sure it's not raw.
And then I noticed that it was also deveined.
Yes, I deveined it myself. Just added a little more olive oil so it cooks evenly. Now, I'm gonna add the crab meat. Break up your crab meat. Oh, it smells good.
It smells fantastic. So, just to recap, we have pork, we have shrimp, and we have crab. Trifecta right there.
Now we're gonna add the pesto.
Can I help with that?
Yes, please.
Awesome. It's my contribution for today.
Pesto is nice green color. It's gonna give it a good green color. Now we're just gonna mix that in. We're gonna add the heavy cream. Now we're gonna add milk.
About how much milk did we add?
About 1/4 cup. Okay, now we're gonna let this boil. Okay.
Do you need the lid? All right. You know, for a second I thought this was my plate, but that's heavy. That's heavy. Do you find yourself that you're stronger ever since you started cooking, like physically stronger?
Yes.
Okay. But you've managed to remain very svelte. You know what svelte means?
No.
It means thin. It means thin. So I don't think, if I start cooking, I don't think I'd be very svelte. What do you think?
I think I'm right.
Okay, she's right. All right, what's next?
We're gonna have to let the sauce boil and thicken.
So now it's time to add the pasta, right?
Yes. Start to boil. I'm gonna add the pasta. Add it in carefully because you don't want it to splash in your face or anything.
What kind of pasta is this?
This is penny pasta.
Penny like the coin?
No, like the noodle.
That was my next guess.
And there. Now we're just gonna take this spoon.
I'm just amazed that you're able to do that, holding that entire bowl of pasta with one hand. That didn't look very light to me.
It wasn't.
Now, viewers, as you can tell, we've turned on the torches because it got freezing cold just a moment ago. No, that's not true. Because the food smells so great, we attracted wildlife who are coming here investigating. So we had to turn on a little bit of smoke so it could stay away from our food for today. It looks fantastic.
I'm just gonna turn this off and I'm just gonna keep it there. Fold this a little more. There we go. I'm gonna add some Parmesan. Ooh.
Yes, or as we call it in where I live, Parmesan. We call it Parmesan anywhere else?
I never heard.
Okay, we're gonna start a new thing.
This is freshly grated Parmesan. It has a nice tangy smell and flavor. And there you go.
All right, everyone, we are holding this kind of hefty dish together. Again, what is this called?
Pesto seafood pasta with sausage.
And this is the main course of the 3-course meal that Eliana has prepared for me to enjoy, and we're going to enjoy it all together in our next episode. You want to stay tuned. In West Hills, California, Alan Basoyahe, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Mahalo. Thank you very much, Alan and Eliana, for that specialty. We just want to offer some friendly advice for those young talents in the kitchen. Please have an adult supervise to make sure that they're doing it safe. But salutations to our young talents out there. Salutations, and thank you also to our frontliners and essential workers looking out for our safety, for our health, and our, for the safety of our communities. We want to congratulate also to the men and women of the class of 2020. Now you have stories to tell in your reunion. This is all for Eagle News America. We thank you for joining us. I'm Alfred Acenas from Hawaii. We live in interesting times. Aloha.